going on? Emperor Melkor here. Sorry, you caught me reading some Tomb of Dracula over here. It's a really great comic book series. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you saw how Gill-boy's been going through his comic books. Yeah, it's pretty boring, I know. Besides, there's not many views on those videos, but there's pretty views for Emperor Melkor here. So it's always great to drink from the skulls of your enemies. Yeah, it's so refreshing, yeah. But anyways, Emperor Melkor here coming at you with another metal reviews. And as you could clearly see, we're going to be discussing early Mayhems today. So we discussed the Mayhem in previous videos, and it was great albums Chimeras. But we're going to be discussing an album that's very influential on Emperor Melkor, and it's called Mayhem Out from the Dark. Yeah, so really this album is a rehearsal album, and the audio quality on it is very shit, so it's perfectly black metal. This is honestly one of the most black metal albums you could ever have, and we're gonna go ahead and break it open from its seal here, because it's really hard, you know, it's too shiny. Look at this, you can't even see the gloriness of that here. So hang on. So this is original Mayhem, okay? So this is Scott's Deads on vocals. As you can see there, he is there. Look at him, he's so handsome. He's a natural blonde like me. And it's got Euronymous on guitars, and it's got Necro Butcher on bass. And it's also got Hellhammer on drums. Yeah. So this is the periods of Mayhems when there is doing the recordings in Norway in the 1989. So the first side of the record is very brutal. It's one of the most brutal sides of any records that Emperor has shown you before. And it starts with Deathcrush. Okay, and then we move right into a very heavy hitter song called Chainsaw Guts Fucks. Okay, we mentioned this song on the previous video on this right here, the Mayhem's tapes. Okay, but that's the singer Maniac singing the song and emulating the Deads here. And the other song is after that song is the Chainsaw Massacre song is Necrolust. And who doesn't lust for necromancy or the dead? Then we go to Pure Fucking Armageddon. Now this song is very brutal. It's got some great breakdowns, the double bass on the drums, and of course Dead's vocals are just is immaculate. And then we finish the side with Carnage, okay? And that's not to be confused, because I understand here's the Lagoon, you know, Spider-Man's villains, okay? So this is about normal Carnage, not Carnage from that's poser comic stuff, okay? That's all poser talk. We're not here to discuss anything poser, we're here to discuss metal, okay? So we will discuss the B-side here in a moment, but I just want to first kind of clear the airs on some things, because I know Gill-boy, so something you don't know about Gill-boy here is he always tries to tell the Emperor that he's wrong, okay? And we know that I'm never wrong. So I just want to just let everyone know it's about some of the things I said in the previous Mayhem video. Okay, so first of all, Dad has influenced me as an entire person. Okay, so I would have to say that the original Mayhem is definitely the definitive version of the band. But unfortunately, Dad, you know, we'll discuss him in great detail, I guess now. I was going to say momentarily, but let's go ahead and just break the ice now. Dad was a very good person. He really likes to fucks with people. He was quiet and is introverted, yeah, except when he was with Euronymous. And they would, you know, take their the anger's out and try to offer up to the great Satan cats, like dads likes to kill animals and hangs them, and he would stop on, like if he was driving on the roads or he was running passengers or whatever. You see this in that kind of poser film, Lords of Chaos. He would get on sides the roads and pick up these dead animal carcasses. Okay, he would just rub himself over them because he loved everything death, and so does Emperor Melkor. I would do the same if I had a cause, but unfortunately I'm stuck here at the Lagoon. And yes, this before you fill out the comment section, yes, Gill-boy did lock me in the basement after I stole a little bit of the spotlight from his YouTube channel, because you know it must be pretty hard for him to realize that the Emperor is more popular than him. But you know, it's something I'm used to, as being Emperor Melkor. So anyways, so like Death, you know, Dad's he would you know, when he's on stage, he would cut himself, you know, quite a lot and stuff. Like he would take his knives and he would, you know, carve a nice little lines there on his hands and then floods out onto the audience. Okay, so it would be real blood. Okay, and it's far more brutal and metal. And he would also throw the peak heads. Okay, see, I feel like I misrepresented the band, or rather, people have accused me, or really Gill-boy has accused me of doing such things. Okay, I know about Mayhem. I'm not a poser. I'm pretty sure everybody knows Emperor Melkor is not a poser. So, anyways. So Dad would do these things on stage, and he would throw pig heads, he would cut himself, throw the bloods, you know, he's really who, you know, Maniac came and tried to emulate Dad, because unfortunately Dad unalived himself, and it's a very sad moment in metal history. But he really was the frontman of one of the most notorious bands ever created. Okay, and they did so many good things for Satan. We've already covered this in the previous videos. But yeah, let's go ahead and open up this record. Yeah, look outside. It's the beautiful art on here. So we're gonna put this down here, so don't worry. But yeah, you could see. Look at that beautiful face. Look at it. It's very similar to Emperor Melkor. But I have the more illustrious beard. But you know, they won't distract that. I'm not trying to say that couldn't grow a beard. He could probably grow a beard as equally as impressive as Melkor. But unfortunately, he didn't have a beard in this photos here. So anyways, on the back here it says, I'll go ahead, I'll try to read it for you. I know it's a little hard for the Emperor at times. But it says, Out from the Dark, Rehearsal, Norway, 1989. Pictures courtesy of Espen Sylvester Stallone, and the True Mayhem collection. So you see, even this record knows it is the True Mayhem. And audio editing and converting by Sagarath at Pimp Plaza Recordings. Okay, and design and layout by Matthew Vickerstaff. Okay, so on the back here we have Satan. You'll see, can you see it? There's a terrible glow on the screen here, but yeah, I'm pretty sure this is a drawing that Dad did himself. He was a lot like Gill-boy's, you know, there's that iconic photos of him reading The Tomb of Dracula by the Marvel Comics. Okay, and I'm just gonna be transparent and honest. I've stolen every single Dracula comic books that Gill-boy has, so good luck trying to bag and board those Gill-boys. You're never going to find it. I went into a comic book store and I stole this, and so I've been reading this, so maybe Gill-boy will just be able to talk about this one, but who cares about Gill-boy, right? So you're all here to see the Emperor and discuss metal. So yeah, so anyway, anyways, that's a great drawing. It's pretty good. You could see Satan blessing his disturbing ghouls, his demons, his army, you know. So, like I said in other videos about the Venoms, who would dare be at war with Satan? Because you could say, look at that, that's so impressive. Like, who could withstand that? This is so great, you know. I wish I could be right here next to him, but like Satan. But anyways, we're gonna take a look at the record now. So it's a really good record. It's got pretty good pressing. So like if I would throw this across the room to, you know, perhaps like let's say a poser walks in right now, I could literally throw this like the Predator and it would cut off its head because it's really sharp. It's made of good material. So if you accidentally have a little bit too much brandy or beers or some things and you drop the records, it won't shatter like most records, okay? And you can even see here on the side A, let me turn it around. Sorry, I got distracted by the art. It's so beautiful. You see Satan on it, so you can kind of see maybe, I don't know. But yeah, anyways, and so the B side, which we'll discuss that, but just look at that. So it's got a different color sticker. You know, one's kind of like that color, and the other one is the kind of darker blue. So it's really nice. It's a great album, and this is this album, if I'm not mistaken, came out in 2019. It might have been 2018. I think it's 2019. But yeah, I got this place in a very nice store called something Records or something. I don't know. It's hard. Like I said, it's hard for the Emperor to read. But they had it, and I couldn't believe it because I kind of just went and visited the Goatman's Bridge. But I'll let Gill-boy talk to you about that. It's too much spoilers for the channels coming up, and I'm, you know, the Emperor doesn't want to ruin things, but he does like to spoil. But anyways, so we're going to discuss the B side of the record now. I'm just going to go ahead and put this in here and make it all nice and cozy. So yeah, so the B side unfortunately only has like 3 songs. And it's Funeral Fog. You know, that's a great song, honestly. That's like actually one of the best Mayhem songs besides Dark Night of the Soul. And Freezing Moon, which is another great song. So it's just already the B side is almost better than the A side. And then we finish it off by Buried by Time and Dust. Yeah. So you could see this is pretty much the Mysteriis Dom Sathanas. You know, the mystery of Satan, because I know a lot of you are stupid and don't understand other languages like Melkor. But that's what that translates into, the mysteries of Satan. And, you know, Satan likes to teach you his mysteries, especially if you play these albums backwards, which I do all the time in the basement. And then, of course, Gill-boy gets mad when just growlings and the light flickers and things fly off the walls. But, you know, it helps me make my black metal's albums. So anyways, yeah, so you could really tell, so this, honestly, this album inspired me to put, like I said, the tape recorder on the opposite side of the room. And I just want to go ahead, because I know that some people were concerned. Yes, the tape recorder is within the pentacle, as the pentagram, with black candles at each point, and everything is written in Hebrew. It's fine. I know how to do, I'm a witch. I know how to do magic, okay? So the music is going to be blessed by Satan. Don't worry, it's about that. So, but anyways, I put it there, and then I go to the opposite side of the room, and I sing normally. It's as low as possible, in fact, just like this album, so you can barely hear the lyrics, which is how black metal should be made. So we're gonna go ahead and seal this album, and you know, I have to just say that you know, this is, if you don't have this record, it's any formats in your collection, you cannot even talk about black metal. Okay, you just can't. You're a poser, and you should just do what needs to be done. And we are not, you know, due to the fascism, I can't tell you what needs to be done, but I hope you know what I mean when I say it needs to be do what's done. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, this is basically Mayhem, as I said earlier, rehearsing. Okay, so this is them just getting together, being a great band, and rehearsing, and this does, you know, it has the iconic lineup of the band. I mean, this is Mayhem. This is the true Mayhem, okay? And so it's a very, I remember that when I went into the record store and I saw this, I immediately knew that this was, I was being blessed by Satan to get this. And, you know, I just did what everyone should do, and you should just take the things that you want and just run out of the store. You can't, there are not a lot of people who are not fast, so, you know, because they're overweight, because they ate too much McDonald's. But Emperor Melkor takes what he pleases. And so I took this album, and I also then came back to the Lagoons, and when the police were chasing me, they were met by Gill-boy, and they screamed. And so they just tried to shoot at Gill-boy, but, you know, he's a monster, so they screamed in fear, and I hid in the basement, and I played this album full blast. And it is one of the greatest things that I've ever obtained in my brutal life. So I would have to tell you, you know, to get this record, because if you don't have this record, you're a poser. I mean, you just can't even begin to. So if anyone tries to talk to me about the metal, I first say, have you ever heard of the Rehearsal of Mayhems? And if they say no, then I turn the other cheek. You know, I do this. I just look the other way. And sometimes they continue to speak to the Emperor. As then the Emperor has to turn the other cheek. And then if the Emperor has to turn the other cheek and I look this way, then you know that you better leave the Emperor, because if you don't, as go the extra miles, and I will drink your blood from the skull cup that I have here. See, you can see it. Hang on, I'll show you. Yeah, so you see, I'll drink your blood from this and be like the Dracula from Gill-boy's comics. So, but anyways, this is a great album. Okay, so I can't stress this enough. If you're really trying to, you know, stop being a poser. And I understand, because most people, before they get into black metal, you're poser. It's fine. Those, you know, most people are born posers, and then they remain posers, and they continue to be posers, and they say, well, we're metals, and you say, okay, well, what's your favorite metal bands? And they say Disturbed, or they say Metallica's, or they say, what's the other poser band, the Decemberists, or whatever, you know. Although Gill-boy has tried to tell me that the Decemberists are pretty metal, but you have to listen to him in the month of December. And he's let me borrow some kind of records, and the album cover really doesn't look metal, but, you know, I'm gonna try to give it a listen, and then I'll give you my review of the Decemberist when I listen to it, and I'm pretty sure hopefully it will be metal, but, you know, it's from Gill-boy, so probably not going to be metal. One of his favorite bands is Kiss, so, you know, we've already kind of discussed that band. So Mayhem is not a poser band, and this is how you stop being a poser. Okay, you buy this, like, let's say all you have in your collection is Disturbed and Metallica's and those Decemberists and Coldplay. You buy this record, okay, so I could speak to you a little bit, okay? I could talk to you, I can come over to your house, and then maybe I'll bring over some Bathory, some Demobugia, Cradle of Filth, okay? Yeah, and then, you know, Dark Thrones, okay? And also a band you probably never heard of, Dagon, okay? So, yeah, I will try to review that, but I've misplaced that CD. I can't find it on vinyl because it's just so underground and it's so hard, so I might have to actually summon, I might have to summon Furfur to get him to get me the CD, but, you know, he's kind of a demon of the day, so it's kind of awkward to, you know, be a creature of the night and get up in the day and go into the woods in the day. You know, it's better to be in the woods at night, and, you know, it's just, but, you know, whatever. Maybe I can talk to one of my friends who I know has the CD and borrow it again. I mean, that doesn't mean that I don't own the record, because I own the record, I own the CD, I'm not a poser, but, you know, so I'm saying. But anyway, so if you don't want to be a poser, and you're trying to be as brutal as Emperor Melkor, then you must buy this record immediately. In fact, don't even buy this, go take it by force. We've already discussed this many times. So, yeah, it's great, it's great. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 songs. It's got 8 brutal songs. Every song on this is immaculate. It's perfect. It's perfection. It's unholy. It's good. You'll feel closer to Satan every time you listen to it. So you should listen to it every day. And then, you know, go outside and capture kittens and cats and emulate dads, you know. It's important to base your entire philosophical life on this album. Much like the previous album we discussed, Black Metal by The Venoms. So, yeah, anyways, there's pretty much not much more to talk about in this thing, because we kind of went over the history of the band a little bit, you know, in the previous videos, and I don't want to sound too much like a record that, you know, sometimes it just keeps repeating the same things, you know. Nobody wants to hear that, you know, after a while, except for Emperor Melkor. I actually feel like that's a pretty brutal experience if you do that. But anyways, Mayhem is one of the most iconic black metal bands of the time, and if you must at least hear one's albums of them, and I highly recommend the Rehearsal, and obviously the first album, Mysteriis Dom Sathanas, you know, the Mysteries of Satan. Listen to that album as well, and then the previous albums that the Emperor recommended to you, Chimera. So you'll have a great time, and you'll come out more brutal, and you will cease to be a poser. And so what will end up happening is then you will stop listening to garbage, okay? Because most things that says they are metal, they're not. They're just like classic rocks, or there's alternatives, or there's these what's the others, trash metal. Yeah, so, you know, and the only really good trash metal is Slayer, so we'll just go there. And I like Anthrax too. Anthrax is pretty cool, so, you know, it's really good to breathe in Anthrax too, so anyways, that's pretty much gonna be it. I'm just gonna kind of go and finish up that Dracula graphic novel with from the Gill-boys, you know. It's a really good brandy too, you know. Don't tell Gill-boy I stole that from him too. No, he's like, oh my god, I finished the horror hunt, and so we're finishing up Hammer horror months. Okay, who do you think told him about Hammer? That's right, the Emperor did, because I know everything that is metal and brutal, and this Gill-boy steals everything from me, so I steal everything from him, so it comes full circle, you know, it's a circle of life. So anyways, I hope you all enjoyed these videos, and I hope you really start learning how not to be a poser, and allow the Emperor to teach you and to guide you into true metal. So until the next video, I will see you then, and have a very, very great unholy witching hour.